他开始昨天来的，昨天就把所有的问题盘问了一遍，就是说 Mr. Ackroyd 和 Dr. 他们吐露了对自己隐瞒的部分。其实 Mrs. 他这个继妹啊 ，Mrs. 寻找遗嘱银柜，而且银柜是他打开了，而且呢他还拿走了一些东西。但是呢上一集他就说 Mr. Porter 他就关心起了这个 Rafi， 就他的继子阿 K 的 A 先生的继子的靴子到底是黑色的还是棕色的，这暗底到底有什么关系呢？当然上一集他说这个 Mr. Porter 认为他是 black 的，但是克雷尔就认为他是错误的，应该是棕色的，克雷尔至少是。
That afternoon, when I returned from seeing my patients, Caroline told me that Geoffrey Raymond had just left. "Did he want to see me?" I asked. "It was Monsieur Poirot he wanted to see," Caroline said. "He'd just come from the Larches. Monsieur Poirot was out, and Mr. Raymond thought that he might be here. He said he would come back and went away. A great pity, because Monsieur Poirot came in almost a minute after he left." "Came in here?" "No, to his own house." "How do you know?" "The side window," Caroline explained. "I can see the front door from there. Aren't you going across to the Larches?" "My dear Caroline," I said. "What for?" "You might hear what it's all about. And you might tell Monsieur Poirot about the boots." Poirot got up to meet me, with a look of pleasure, when I arrived at the Larches. "Sit down, my good friend," he said. "You have something for me, yes?" "Information, of a kind." I told him of my interview with Mrs. Ackroyd. "That explains something to me," he said thoughtfully. "And it confirms the evidence of the housekeeper. She said, you remember, that she found the lid of the silver table open and..."
好，这句话是立的。昨天晚上查了一下，是盖子的意思。再看它对不对？对了，是吧？这个银柜的盖子啊，银柜中的盖子。And close it when she walked past. 为什么他会突然？因为他听到有人来了，所以他的门走掉了。正好就是，但是谁关的呢？
Closed it as she walked past it. "Yes," I said. "But why did she come in through the French windows? By the way, I've got a message for you from my sister. Ralph Peyton's boots were black, not brown." "Ah," said Poirot sadly. "That is a pity." He gave no explanation about why. Then the door opened, and Geoffrey Raymond came in. "Perhaps I'd better leave," I suggested. "Please don't go because of me, Doctor," said Raymond. "I just have a confession to make. You accuse us all of hiding something, Monsieur Poirot. I plead guilty. I was in debt, badly, and Ackroyd's £500 will solve all my problems." He smiled with that openness that made him such a likeable youngster. "You are a very wise young man," said Poirot, nodding with approval. "You see, when I know someone is hiding things from me, I suspect that the thing hidden may be something very bad indeed. You have done well." "I'm glad I'm cleared from suspicion," laughed Raymond. "I'll leave now." "So, that is that," I remarked, as the door closed behind the young secretary. "Yes," agreed Poirot. "But have you thought, my friend, that many people in that house will benefit by Mr. Ackroyd's death? Only one, in fact, does not. Major Blunt." The way he said Blunt's name was so strange that I looked up, puzzled. "You think he has something to conceal also?" "There is a saying, is there not, that Englishmen conceal only one thing, their love." "No, I would like to try a little experiment with Parker." "Parker?" "Yes, Parker. My thoughts always return to Parker, not as the murderer, But perhaps he is the scoundrel who blackmailed Mrs. Ferrars. Parker might have taken the letter, I said. It wasn't until later that I noticed it was gone. Then, my friend, will you accompany me to Fernley? We set out at once. At Fernley, Poirot asked to see Miss Ackroyd, and she came to us. Mademoiselle Flora, said Poirot, I am not yet satisfied of the innocence of Parker. With your help, I want to have him repeat some of his actions on that night. But we must think of something to tell him. Ah, I have it. Now, ring the servant's bell for Parker, if you will be so good, Doctor. I did so, and the butler soon appeared. You rang, sir? Yes, my good Parker, said Poirot. I have in mind a little experiment. I know that on the night of the murder, Major Blunt was on the terrace outside the study window. I want to see if anyone there could have heard the voices of Miss Ackroyd and yourself in the small hall that night. I want you to repeat that scene. Could you please get the tray you were carrying? Parker left, and we went and stood outside the study door. Soon Parker appeared in the doorway, carrying a tray with whiskey and water. Now, let us do everything just as it happened, cried Poirot, seeming very excited. You came from the outer hall, and Mademoiselle was where? Here, said Flora. I had just closed the door. Yes, miss, agreed Parker. Your hand was still on the handle, as it is now. Then, said Poirot, begin the play. Flora stood with her hand on the door handle, and Parker came through the door from the main hall. He stopped just inside the door. Flora spoke. Oh, Parker, Mr. Ackroyd doesn't want to be disturbed again tonight. Is that right? She added. I think you said this evening, not tonight, Miss Flora. Then, raising his voice in a theatrical fashion, Parker said, Very good, miss. Shall I lock up as usual? Yes, please. Parker left through the door. Flora followed him and started to go up the main staircase. Is that enough? She asked over her shoulder. Excellent, said the little man, rubbing his hands. I have discovered what I wanted to know. The funerals of Mrs. Ferrars and Roger Ackroyd took place at 11 o'clock in the morning. Afterwards, Poirot invited me to go back to the Larches with him. With your help, I will question Parker, he said. We will scare him so much that the truth is certain to come out. I asked him to be at my house at 12 o'clock. He will be there now.
Parker left the third door, Flora followed him, and started to go up the main stairs. Is that enough? She asked over his shoulder. Excellent, said the little man, rubbing his hands. I've discovered what I want to know. The funerals of Mrs. Ferrars and Roger Ackroyd take place at 11 o'clock in the morning. Afterwards, Potter invited me to go back to the lunch with him, with the help of our Crescent Park. The hand was still on the handle, as it is now. 这手柄吧。两屁股都很陡门的 发生的 Lamp came through the door from my hand. This just started though. This will help right now. I don't want to disturb you again tonight. We are to use this tonight. This evening 是这个晚上，并不是今晚。Not tonight. not tonight. What do you think? Pity. Of knowing the color and boots. 他猜错了吧？都是 color. Could open give long space for a while. Who was the only person that wouldn't benefit from magic? What is the experiment? He asked part of the tale's secret. I had to repeat the sense with Flora. She asked Flora to meet her pie donuts. 然后他们就去看了，开始表演了。Flo stand with her hand，stand with her hand， 他的手就放在那个门上，光灯的手把上。然后呢 ，Peggy comes through the door， 然后那个出来从主厅里出来了，然后 stopped just inside the door， 正好在门的里面。他走到门边，然后弗洛姆就说了帕克，那对问这个机会的给了他的案子。他进里面去把门关上了啊。theatrical fashion 是什么方式？美国的名词 Sherlock Holmes 就把锁上，就像平时一样。Yes, please, part of the door. After the door, Flo put him and stuff. 我再想想，他走到门的里面，还是从大厅里过来的？哦，是这种。而且他说那个嫌疑人不想被打扰，然后他们就上楼去了。对，就是这种，这样做。23分钟好快，没有什么可讲。今天的讲没做刚讲。It was that I cannot that 这是虚的Mr. Part 这个是 that 这是一个修饰，其实它是一个强调字。It was that it must know that you want to say 它是个强调字。I said what for 为什么为何目的I said what for made here that made him such a likable young star. You say 差不多就是这个，没有意思还有短语白子我也顺便说一下 accuse somebody of 起诉某人，指控某人hide something from somebody 把某事隐瞒着某人hide something from 就像 stop something from something 就阻止某人做某事 clean from 清除，这个很简单 这个不简单 ，claim from 清楚不简单，我刚才说了 ，so that 如此以至于set out 出发 ，be satisfied 的对什么确信或有把握 ，satisfied 的take place 发生。好，完了，结束了。